All right, the Bajaj Auto numbers are due and Rajiv Bajaj, Managing Director, is joining us. Rajiv, we actually haven't got the numbers, so why don't you start by telling us your profit and sales for the fourth quarter?
Sure. For the fourth quarter, the total revenues were about 5,000 crores, which is pretty much unchanged from the fourth quarter of the previous year, just a wee bit more. Profit after tax at about 766 is again flat year on year. In terms of number of vehicles sold, marginally lower, just under a million vehicles. So overall, it's been a unremarkable quarter, I would say, and bringing to an end an unremarkable year. Even for the year as a whole, the numbers were pretty flat, whether in terms of revenues or the bottom line.
Okay. Very candid, but I must tell you that your profit really is above street expectations. We had got a number of 709, so 766 actually would be taken positively by the street, I would assume. If you could give me your exact revenue number, it would help. But even at 5,000 crore, taking it as 5,000, the street poll that we got was 4780 crore. So it looks certainly better. It was expected to be up 2.8% even at 4780. But if it is close to 5,000, then I guess it will be up in a high single-digit number. If you can tell us.
Let me just clarify, though, Lata, that when I say total revenues, that's 4990 to be precise.
Okay.
But that includes, in our terminology, a figure of 243 crores, which is both the operating other income as well as the non-operating other income. So perhaps the street figure is closer to the revenues minus this number.
The operating other income.
I think it would be, because then it would come in at revenues of 4747 thereabout versus our expectation of 4,780, which means just shy of about 30 odd crores. So largely in line on the revenues as well. Could you tell us what the operating margins were?
Yeah, the EBITDA is at 19.2. That compares with 20.6 in Q4 of the previous year. So in percentage terms, that's down almost 150 basis points. It's more or less in line with the quarters before. I mean, through this year, it's been at 19.4, 19.7, 19.1, 19. So it remains in the 19 to 20 zone.
Okay. Rajiv, on more details in terms of the number of vehicles sold, would it be around 9.8 lakh units?
Yes, to be precise, I'm trying to read it off here.
Okay.
Can't see as well as I used to, but it's 981,000 vehicles, I think.
Okay, can you see as well as you used to about the quarter in progress and the quarter ahead? Is it giving you a sense that sales will pick up both in terms of the volume of demand and better able to tackle competition?
I can see very clearly that nothing's going to change in the short term. April has been no different from all of last year, and I don't really expect any change going forwards. I think, let me put it like this, I think everything else is a positive, at least for Bajaj Auto. I mean, we are very, very enthusiastic about the new products we're going to put out. I've said this a couple of times before in your channel. We have 6 new Discovers for launch starting July. We are going to completely replace our entire portfolio of three-wheelers with a completely new range of three-wheelers. So I think we have a lot of product action, which is good. We are now realizing from 1st of April, 54 rupees to $1, which up until 31st March was only around 50 rupees to $1 because of the way it was hedged. So that's almost a 8 or 9% improvement on the export turnover, which in our case is about 7,000 crores. So that's a big number. So that's a big positive. And thankfully, commodities are very stable. So this is all the good news. The only problem is that whether it's the domestic markets or whether it's the export markets, whether it's Egypt, Iran, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, markets are so uncertain and so flat that really dampens everything else.
Do you expect margins for FY14 to be in this band of 19.2, 19.6 that you were referring to?
I expect margins as in our EBITDA, which is typically been around 20%, to remain in that zone, simply because fixed cost as a percentage of sales is only about 6% or so. So ours is a completely variabilized structure. When volumes jump up, we don't have any huge gain in terms of economies of scale. But equally, the reverse is also true, that if growth is flat, if there's no growth, it doesn't really have any inimical impact as far as the bottom line is concerned. So bottom line is not our concern, but certainly our concern is that we don't see growth in the market, and therefore it becomes hard to predict that for one's own self.
Contribution of exports to your total revenues has gone up. Are you all planning to further increase the contribution of exports, and what would be the kind of improvement in realizations on the export side?
Yeah, exports are now about 33% of our total sales and revenue. This year, from a forex point of view, yes, we will realize better rupee value for exports, because almost all our exports are in dollars. To that extent, we are certainly, let me put it like this, we budgeted for a double-digit increase in exports revenues, and hopefully that goes through, although again it's a month-by-month issue. However, I'm hoping that this year, in terms of sales growth, in terms of units, we can actually do better in the domestic market, and this is simply because our entire focus will be on the mass segment, which is the Discover segment. We're going to put in 6 new products, as I said, and we are very keen to move our market share up in that segment this year.
Several people who have their finger on the pulse of the market, or at least expound about it, say that the worst is over. Not many have told us that things will actually get better, Rajiv. Let me come to the competition part of it, where perhaps you all will have more control. The good news is that with this huge competitor coming on the scene, you all were affected the least, I understand, a 1% loss in market share. Can you confirm that number for us? And will you be able to stabilize it at that level and not lose further to the competition?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. In terms of domestic motorcycle market share, the year that just finished was at about 24.5% compared to 25.5% the year before. But I will only hasten to add that that is the change in the billing market share. At a retail level, we believe we have not lost market share. We may have gained a fraction, because we have put nowhere near the numbers of vehicles, motorcycles in dealer stock that some of the others have. But I would not say that we have gained significant market share either. I think market share has remained flat. Let me put it like this. I think people who wanted to buy either a Hero or a Honda were always buying it from Hero Honda. The people that came to Bajaj came to us because we offered something different, good, bad or ugly. And I think those people continue to come to us. There are some that may be gravitating from Hero to Honda now that the two entities are different. But that is not going to directly benefit us. That's going to be to the benefit of Honda, if at all. Our game has to be of differentiation. We have to make an impact with the new Discovers that we will launch.
Your new launches, will they be up the value scale and therefore realizations higher, or will they pretty much mirror the kind of breakup you have now?
In fact, it's for the first time since July 2009, and I refer to this date because that is when we decided to go with a two-brand strategy of Discover and Pulsar in the marketplace. So it's the first time in the last 4 years that we will have a year when we will actually be placing more emphasis on the mass market, by which I mean the motorcycles priced at an ex-showroom price between 40 and 50,000 rupees. So of the 6 Discovers that we are launching, only 2 are going to be in the more upmarket or premium space. 4 of them will actually be in the 40 to 50,000 rupee zone, and that is where we are hoping that we can pick up a lot of market share. It's taken us time to do this because we did not want to do this at the expense of margins. So what's important to us is to be able to price vehicles in this segment, and at the same time to grow but to maintain the 20% EBITDA that is very dear to us.